Let's go. We're here with a special Tapped Tuesdays. Okay, we've got a unique one with the new European champion from the UK, piloting Rika Sanavalon, Jessica Robertson. Woo!
Where have we heard that one before, team? When have we heard that one before?
Yeah, we're very lucky to have you on. Um,
We've also got the 2022 European champion of Lucas Navalon, Marcus Patel.
and we've also got the 2022 YOS champion with Rika Sanavalon, Alex Robertson.
No.
Okay.
And Andre. There's also Andre.
We've got Ollie's favourite winner. Andre Delury.
Don't play plants as well. Do not know about plants.
Yeah.
I'm sure we got a lot to talk about. We've
Yeah.
got a lot to talk about.
So Euros may have been 2 weeks ago now. Well, going on 2 weeks ago. We're recording this a little bit after US Nationals. But yeah, we thought we'd just get into it. Go over the Rika deck, go over Andre and his tournament experience as well. As he reached top 32. Unfortunately knocking out another member of Disciples. It's a bit of a hate crime really, but it is what it is. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. How's everyone today?
Good.
Nice. Cool.
Today's even better. I'm in a podcast with a European champion. Can't complain.
It's still not real to me.
Yeah,
It's still, like,
that
very
was my next question. Is it how's it hitting for you?
I was like,
How's life
It's definitely
going?
not here.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been so busy because I went like holidays and I was sick. It's like it's not. It's still. I'm now moving house. It's still not real. I don't think I've been like. I don't think things have been quiet enough for it to have set in fully.
I believe
like,
that in all honesty.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just like it definitely hasn't set in. I think I've said it way too many times now though. It's just like it's still very surreal.
it's okay. You're at least going to Worlds though.
We boarded the plane to Japan and then it will sink in.
Yeah, I think it definitely will sink in like at least then, if not
If
before
not,
then.
hopefully
But, like,
before then.
that's still like Japan is still. It's something else. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I'm here.
It's fine.
Deserved.
On the
It's
podcast.
100% deserved.
On the podcast. And very much deserved. There are a few players that I would have been this happy to see win the event. To be fair, most of them are here, so it's okay. But yeah, so once again, huge congrats and
Yeah.
good luck
Super
at
hype
Worlds in
weekend.
2 weeks. 3 weeks? 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Thank
3
you.
weeks.
I mean, it was kind of. I look back at like old like Facebook stuff. There's like your post from like nationals last year, which is kind of like when you got second at nationals with the previous plant deck before Concon was released.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of cute.
Yeah. Because that was about this sort of time last year, right? It was like end
Yeah.
of June last year. Like
I think it was like end of June because yours was really late last year.
yeah. So yeah, it's been a wild week in Jess's life. I can only imagine just how crazy it is as well. Just because there's obviously such overwhelming support for you as well. I can imagine it was quite overwhelming at times.
I feel really bad about it, like a little bit, because things like, for example, I've had hundreds of direct messages, just like really positive, like really nice things, like people like feeling more confident to go out and like play again, or that kind of thing. But because I've had like so many of them, I feel really bad that I haven't responded to all. So like, whenever I get like 5 minutes, I'm just going through my DMs and just like making sure I respond to everything. And it's like that's just like the very surreal part. Like, it doesn't feel like it's just the impact I've had is. I can't quite describe it.
It's just crazy, right? Like
It doesn't seem real that I've had that kind of impact, but I'm really happy that I had that people see like I have.
yeah, definitely really good for the game. Like that. I think it's really, really good for the game.
And hopefully, World is even bigger.
What's next?
Wait, what can you do afterwards though? That's the issue.
Tour.
Wait, what did you say?
Tour.
Tour?
Oh, YCS Japan?
YCS
Yeah, like
Japan.
go to different like YCS in different countries. That goes to American YCSs.
You're gonna have to win it all. It's the only way. You're gonna have to. I don't know what
That-
you can do afterwards. Just do it again.
I don't know if I could handle that. I don't know if I could like handle winning world. Because it seems like when you're like thinking as a regular player, especially when you're like not at the level of like consistently topping events, like worlds is just like some foreign event that like it's very out of reach, right? It's like you can't really like. I know as a newer player, I could never like conceptualize going to worlds. It's like that separate from like locals and that kind of thing. It's on a completely different level. Like even more so than doing well at YCS and Euros. It's just like a completely its own entity.
Like it's
So
it's such an end game, right? Like
yes, I feel like if you win worlds, like what's next?
well, you gotta do the gauntlet, right? You have to win worlds. You have to win Euros. You've done one. You have to win the rest now. You have to win at YCS and nationals. Because I don't think.
See, I
Yeah,
might
exactly.
do like the continental gauntlet. So I need to win an EU YCS. I'd won EU or EU
Jesse
event,
won.
and I need to win a US
No,
event.
there's a Pokemon player that won all 4 of the continental championships they have, and like that's just crazy to see. So now you got to qualify. You got to win like NAWCQ somehow, or something like that.
I don't see myself moving to America anytime soon. So
I mean, Gabe was on the world's leaderboard for there, right? I swear, like
wait, he was?
Yeah.
For South America.
For
I think
South
for
America,
South
it was,
America.
yeah.
Oh, South
Like,
America.
Oh, because he
maybe
topped
fifth.
2 South American YCSs, right?
He
Yeah.
topped 2, yeah. That's why he was like somewhat high.
Yeah, I can't see myself traveling to South American YCSs, but like I'm hoping to do some like because I know you guys are doing Vancouver, Cancun, right?
Yep.
Like I'm hoping to do maybe not those two, but I'm hoping to do some American YCSs. It's like travel, like use the I guess success in the game to travel a little bit, hopefully.
Good goal to have.
Yeah.
Everyone was pretty friendly when we went over.
Oh, it
I
was
felt.
honestly, it was a lot but nicer than some of the EU YCS
EU.
experiences I've
Yeah.
had. Like, I think that playing against people, it was a lot nicer in general. I think. I think I do prefer EU YCSs. I think in general, maybe it's just because I know so many more people, but like playing against them in America, they were nice. It's friendly enough.
Yeah, I can actually it's like a very different experience. Because obviously I've not had that experience yet, at least.
Yeah.
And it's like it seems like Roguecrisis seems like a very different experience to EU events. From what
The
from like an
fans.
outside perspective of someone who's not like experienced. in them.
You're not ready. You're gonna have to have like 2 or 3 permanent markers, otherwise you're gonna run out. Like I was just stood there, and
100%.
people were like,
100%.
we were just sat there like chatting to people, and Marcus was just like, oh, can you sign my card? Can you sign my card? Or, like they were asking Marcus, sorry.
No,
Right.
I thought about getting you to sign one of my cards and maybe selling them on eBay. How much do you think a sign
I had a-
you could go for?
I did a couple of signatures at Euros.
I know.
Um,
Wait, did I? Oh no, I didn't find a picture. I've got a picture of you signing a card on Connor's back somewhere.
Oh, the deck box.
Yeah. That was funny.
That's cool.
But nah, honestly, it was crazy just like seeing some of the YouTubers that were at Pasadena last time just being swamped. Like they didn't really have a YCS weekend. They were just having people chat to them, like or like counting or like they were there the entire time. I was like, it was mad to watch in all honesty. But
Yes, at least I'm not like that. I would be like that. It would definitely for me. I'd be going small like to play. I definitely would have like that would not happen.
it's okay. You've got bodyguard Matthew Bagley on the case. Don't worry. But anyway, we played Plant. Well, 3/4
So I think-
busted.
I think. I'm sorry, Andre, for going to plant for a minute, but I think because like, you might be excluded from this section. I think we go with the Friday though, because like the little session we had at the back of the venue, like deck building for the event.
Well, like so it was a bit
We start.
more right. So like say 2 weeks before, I rock up to locals. I'm like chatting to Moffat, Thursday night locals, chilling. And then I realised Tom Rose is just in the corner playing a guy from my locals. And I'm just like, why is Tom at my locals playing like a 60 card pile? And that
What?
This
He
is
lives in London.
no, I don't live in London. The fuck.
Shot locals.
Reading, and so it's like an hour, 2 hours from Tom. But anyway, I see him playing. He activates Small World. I'm like, crazy. I chat to him about this deck. I'm like, that seems cool. We'll talk about it later. We talk about it all a bit. We'll talk about it a bit. We're like we're all a bit like, okay, Small World's cool. We're not sold on it yet though.
I think it was the crackhead energy Tom Rose
The
came with when
crackhead
he first
energy,
posted
yeah,
the
yeah,
list.
yeah.
Because he was like, out of the blue, I'm playing one petal. 3
Yeah.
lone fire, 3 small. Because the way he sold the deck, he sold it as like a Lily combo deck. And that's what maybe put us more hesitant because like, why do we need to make our going first better?
Yeah.
But like when eventually I got around to testing the Small World and I was like, I thought the card was amazing for its application going second. Like searching his Pancratops was like, for me, like it was a difference between winning and losing some games in testing.
Agreed.
And the card was amazing. And Kurikara too. Sometimes you just search a Kurikara against a cash board and it's like an FTK.
See, I know my perspective was a bit different because I really like the small package as like how versatile it was. But I know I was a little more skeptical on the other aspects of his lists. Like his list with things like, I was very skeptical on the 3 lone fire and the 1 petal. I like the 1 sewing as well. I was much more skeptical on those factors because I'm like his build felt very like a glass cannon.
Yeah.
And I wanted to build, like, you win turn 1 or you lose turn 1, and I wanted to be able to build for the grind game a bit more, because I know that's where, for me, when I get into those grind games, I win, I can win pretty confidently with things like technical play, and, like, through trying to outmaneuver what I think my opponent has, but I can't do that if I've got, let's say, 1 sewing or 1 petal that's then been used or banished already.
Yeah. I think the most skillful Yu-Gi-Oh! Definitely comes from turn 3. And I think Andre can definitely say the same with his Vanquisol deck. Because that's where the deck probably shines. Like, people really look at Vanquisol. Yeah, but you can talk more about it. But that's why I think the Vanquisol deck is, like, so dangerous when they catch you turn 3.
I haven't played Vanquisol, but I also value that part of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I feel like that's why... I think that might be why we saw success with Plant as well last year, because a lot of the decks were like, oh, I'll do all this crazy wall turn 1. I'll just crazy wall turn 1. Whereas like the Plant deck was like, I'll break your turn 1 board, I'll set up a range of interrupts, you'll try and crack back, you'll fail, and then we just have a massive resources for the following turn. You have the Pale, you have the Con. And I feel like that's just kind of at least in my head, that's the methodology I tried to keep with the Plant deck for the last year anyway.
I just wanted to know, like, for you two, Alex and Jess, like, were you guys always going to play Plants for this event? Like, regardless if it was a good or bad pick, were you always going to play Plants?
Personally, for me, probably, because I didn't have enough time to test, like, seriously. I think I've also shown my results. I don't think my result was super vindictive of my ability to play the tournament, because I kind of just had shitty losses, is what it is. But I don't think I had the time to play anything else or test anything else thoroughly. So I think I was just gonna rock with this no matter what. Maybe a Labyrinth deck actually. If there's a Labyrinth deck, like if I knew like the German crowd enough and like, I could have got Dinkabui's deck, there's a chance that I might have just played Dinkabui's deck from Friday, like in the main event or something. But that's like the only other. That's the only. There was either Plant or the far extreme of the Trap Labyrinth. There's like it was one or the other. But
For me, it was a little bit different. I wasn't like 100% set on Plant, but like playing Plant, I knew that I could, because I had, my time was a little more limited. I just knew that I can get good with this like slightly better deck into the format than Plant. Like if Plant wasn't optimal for the event, or there wasn't a Plant list that I thought was like really good into the event. Like I thought our list was really good. I'd played that no matter what. But I think that if there was a list that was like let's say I thought the Labyrinth wasn't let's say Dragons or Virtual Labyrinth was better into the format, even like because my time was a bit more limited since I had a bunch of uni work and things going on, it was like I could invest all this time into this other deck, but I probably still won't get to the technical play level that then puts it ahead of my play with Plant. So I was always going to I was always going to pick the deck. It wasn't that I was always going to go for Plant because I like Plant. It was more because of the amount of time I have for that event specifically. Plant was always the optimal pick. because I don't think I could have gotten good enough with another deck, like that surpassed my plant knowledge, even if it
Yeah.
wasn't quite the best deck.
We didn't have that much time. Like we had like 4 weeks, and we only had 4 weeks. And I think sometimes it's very hard to learn a deck perfectly in 4 weeks.
So 4 weeks. So 4 weeks wouldn't have been an issue for me. Like 4 weeks wouldn't have been an issue, for example, for Worlds, which is in less than that. I'm definitely considering multiple decks. But it was more the fact. What?
It's just like having more time, right? Like having like the physical time.
Yeah, it's
Like,
more
actually
just
get
like
the
life commitments, things like having work and like not having those like the work and having work right now and that kind of thing makes it much more easy to test compared to before Euros, where time was just general time was much a lot more limited.
Andre, why did you play Vanquisol?
I was playing Kashtira for the longest time. I tend to, when I look at an event, do aim my deck to reach top cut. I am, after all, the winner mat specialist. So looking into Euros, I think everyone knew that Kashtira was the best deck. Just was the best deck on paper, but that in itself had some deck building issues. If you built your deck for the mirror, you're going to lose to everything else that is targeting you, like the Runic deck, and the other decks were very much prepared for Kashtira. So there was that weird dynamic of you build a deck for the mirror, or do you kind of build a very standard list that's going to be good in Swiss. So
Because,
I made the
Oh no, I just wanted to say on your point, like building for the mirror. Like I know some people would decide to come with like go second cash to even try to.
Yeah.
But then you lose.
I think that's the thing. And I felt like obviously my Kashtira, talking about how familiar you feel with the deck, my Kashtira knowledge I felt was up there, but the limitation was purely deck building. I couldn't beat the meta from your deck building, so it felt very much luck based. So quite a long time for Euros, I locked myself into Vanquisol, which I sometimes do. I've been playing for a long time, and sometimes I just see a new deck, and I'm just like, I'm just going to keep playing that deck. I'm going to make it the best possible for the event. So I did that with Vanquisol. And the main thing that everyone was telling me is that it had a good Kashtira matchup. Obviously, I didn't at the time have much experience with the deck, but that in itself excited me that the core engine of the deck plays really well against Kashtira, which I thought was going to be a high representation. That instantly was very appealing, and then people thought was actually a downside was very appealing to me as well, that there was no set deck list yet. I think if you ask anyone what would you expect in a Vanquisol deck, it could reel you off loads of engines, loads of hand traps, and no one would actually quite know what was in the main deck, especially. It could be anything. You could have wall breakers, you could have all these other engines, DPE, there could be all sorts, and that itself appealed to me that the deck didn't have a best list yet. So I just went with playing lots and lots of games, and it did take me many weeks to actually come to the conclusions I did for my deck list. I tested a lot with some other people as well, some from the Disciples, and a lot of playing on Dueling Book. And then I came to the conclusion that deck can really punish people that don't know what the cards do. And
So-
it was meant.
So everyone, I had one question about like your list, because I know you, when we talked during the event, you said that a lot of your opponents didn't know what your cards did.
Yep.
So like, was that also like a big factor choosing the deck for you? Because I know that's very like, let's say, reminiscent. How you describe deck building with like it not being a set list and with that kind of thing, it felt very reminiscent of Plant for when Marcus won Euros, with people not knowing the cards and then there not being a set list, and we kind of like had to make a standard. Is that the same kind of situation with Vanquisol?
Yes. So Vanquish, I think it's very similar that people know roughly what the cards do, and that in itself kind of leads them into a trap of still misplaying, even though they know the fundamentals of the cards. Actually, in practice, they have no idea. They're literally they're in quicksand. Like the deck functions very much like, say, even Sky Striker, where you've got a lot of layered interruption and ways to play around higher chain links. That, especially with the hand effects of Vanquisol, is that they know they're coming and they're going to do something, and it's like no matter what step they take, it's going to result in them almost throwing the game. Because they're just scrambling. They're like, well, I have to use this imperm eventually. Do I shotgun it now? Do I use it later? And in reality, you're sitting there like your imperm might as well be a dud right now. Like
No, that sounds like when plants like were like the early stages of plants after Euros, where people like knew what the plant cards did, but they didn't really know where to hand trap.
Yeah.
Like
that's my
Yeah.
tournament experience for a year. I can assume Jess has had the same sort of thing. Like they think they're talking like they know what's going on, and then they're just like they ash dry us, and I'm like, okay, calm. Like, it is what it is. Like,
I think
The
at like
Vanquisol
I
deck.
definitely at regional levels, but not. I don't think like YCS like Euros. I think it was very. People knew what the cards did at Euros. I think.
I think
Just
it was a bit different. Like for YCSs, like Utrecht, I still had people reading my cards like round 12. Like
no one knew my cards at all the way from round 1 up to top cut. No one knew exactly what was going on. Just that
that'd be me.
the hidden effects of like Mad Love, for example. Mad Love has another effect that every time I activated it, it won me the game because my opponent
Lose 500, attack and defense.
not even
Yeah.
that one, the bounce effect, the
Oh,
bounce
the bounce.
effect.
No one knows
Bounce
the
that
effect.
apparently not, or actually like I was playing Kashtira Planet and my Mad Love went higher than Unicorn, so when they Theosised it, oh, good luck, Bozo.
Oh,
Good
that's
luck,
really
boys.
cool.
So stuff like that is that there was so many points where people kept just misstepping and making heavy misplays, and yeah, like the 500 attack reduction is permanent. Someone, I think it was like round 8, reduced by 500 on his turn. That's my turn, reduced by 500 again, and I attack. He lets it go through. I go damage step. And I was like, drop it by 500, and he goes, yeah, your monster dies. I was like, no, yours is 1,000 down. It is forever. He was like, oh, I didn't realize that. And I was like, oh, you've read the card like 3 times because yeah, and deck power level is very low. It's a non-engine deck. It's a hand trap deck, but engine itself lets you start your turn with 6 cards in hand. That alone is very appealing. My actual interrupts were really good against Kashtira. Like I have a searchable Book of Moon. I can pretty much make it so they can't kill me ever. You can summon Caesar Valius and make it unaffected. There's no kill option for them for Kashtira. Like they can have as many of the monsters. They could put 5 bodies on board, but they can't kill you still.
The thing that makes that deck appealing to me is just how its interrupts are very unique. There's not just you've got your guys on board, you've got your set cards, you've got your guys in hand that just appear out of nowhere. You draw some cards, you draw into like 12 non-engine you can, well, I guess 9 that you can draw into.
I played 12 hand traps.
Yeah.
And then 5 Fenris essentially was my non-engine. So
I like the Fenris. I like the amount of Fenrir even.
yeah, maths of 5 was nice and just really it's perfect. Deck as well, kind of itself is good against Rogue.
Yes.
It has all the options, and just before we started, there are cards that do blow out Vanquisol, but I just didn't expect many in the meta. I didn't expect anyone to be having Dark Holes or Lava Golems in their deck, or Super Poly, possibly in branded matchup, but I didn't expect anyone to really be going for Super Poly, so there's actually just nothing they could side. Like, I didn't really look, but I imagine my opponents were scrambling game 2 once they lost game 1 at their side deck, being like, I put in Eclipse, do I put in these cards? I like Lightning Storm, like does these go in? And I feel like everyone was just scrambling, like they just don't know what the cards do, they don't know what to side in, they didn't have any options, and yeah, they often won nearly every game 1 because didn't know what was going on, and that so many people missed lethal. They just couldn't get through the wall of bodies, and then I start my turn with 6 cards in hand, and then don't know what's going on. So
To be fair, I've always seen you like pick up new decks and top with them. Like, haven't all your tops come up, majority of your tops come up with like just playing a new deck in the format?
find new deck energy really exciting because I've played for a long time. Like I can pick up a deck and learn it to a decent degree, or at least enough to go to a YCS and feel competitive. What actually keeps me in the game so long is playing these new decks and trying to deck build or innovate or being part of that innovation. Like knowing what I'm doing is actually kind of trend setting in a way that playing this engine is become standard, and kind of going to an event, even not with the newest deck, but the newest way to play that deck is always giving me that edge.
Sounds like the perfect pitch to join Plant Gang. Should have been one of us.
The thing is, I did know about plants, and especially being around Plant Gang really helped me because I was one of those bozos that didn't really know what plants did. And obviously, I was trying to be as prepared as possible. I'm one of those people that plays way too many games preparing for an event. And even then, for the longest time, I didn't know what plants did, especially leading up to last year's Euros. Yeah, it was a deck.
I
And tell you what it was actually doing.
I think if we learned anything from last year's Euros, it's just that as a testing group, when we find that deck that's just so insane that we're like, I don't know. I think going forward, if people saw that, like me, Marcus, Jess were like, oh, this deck's insane. This is the deck. I think more people would catch on, because I think last year, if we had what three out of four, like Leland picked onto the deck a little bit too late, so he unfortunately didn't make top cut last year.
Leland's like list was slightly different as well.
Yeah. But I think
Miller.
but
I think.
Oh, sorry. I just think if more people had that like 2 weeks like playing plant last year, and went into Euros, I think a lot more people would have topped.
We have obviously put that logic into action for nationals. We had a lot of us on Kashtira.
Yeah, I think almost everyone topped on Kashtira.
Everyone was literally X1 the whole event or better. Yeah. It just shows that once you find a deck that works and you have a good testing group and you actually test and record information in the correct way, that it results in tops. I think our UK group players tend to see quite a lot of good results based upon that, like really good quality testing, not just. I think you need to take it to the next level to go to YCS and actually top. You can't just play at locals or wing a comfort pick all the time. You actually do need to put the work in to see results.
Yeah, locals can definitely be a bit of a trap. I think locals sometimes could be a bit of a trap, especially when like you might under-respect some decks just because no one at locals is playing the deck correctly. Like some decks, like I think Dragons is a big one. Like depending on how they play Dragons, really depends on the win rate versus it.
Agreed. I think if we go back to where we were talking about the prep up to Euros. So yeah, we had like the 2 weeks. We're talking. Like the day before comes around, we get a couple of people on Discord and we're talking. And we're like, okay, we sort of know what our like 60-ish cards are. We're not going to include the extra decks. That was never changing. But
I think what was it? The discussion like maybe a bit before was, do we do hand traps or do we do breakers? And I think maybe 10 days before, we kind of just agreed that the best way to win going second was probably like Ash and Imperm rather than trying to like break them, because when I was against X, I felt like I was winning more games with the Ashing and Imperms going second than the breakers, and the breakers were also a bit dead when you went first, when you get hand trapped, and then you don't really get to use the turn free of plants.
So I struggled like a little bit because like you guys were testing like the 3 Lone Fire like with all the breakers lists.
Testing, yeah.
Because I think the original list had dropped all hand traps, right?
I wanted to test it. Yeah, I wanted to test it.
Oh yeah, no, I can be testing it. I was testing at that point because just busy. And then because I remember I ended up testing that list for like a few games and realizing like you need support going first and switched. And I think everyone else started realizing that then. But it was more. I think I wasn't part of this like Discord for last minute because I already ended up like Hooch.
Yeah. We didn't really get much in the Discord. No. I think the last night Discord, I think we got some. We just talked about some cool plays, but
yeah,
I feel like the list was already like
it's pretty
solidified by then. Like the main deck. I know there was some side deck discrepancies still.
Then it was pretty much there. It was like a couple of bits we were a little bit like, but
having difficulties with side, because I know for the event I was struggling with my side deck.
Some ratios, yeah, because like it was tough since the format was diverse. Like you kind of have to be like, what do you want to respect? What do you like? What do you want to respect? That's pretty much what the side deck is.
I think what's interesting dynamic that I've seen is when there is a best deck, such as Kashtira, that then the rest of that pie chart is a lot of decks compared to a format where there's 3 good decks. Kind of, what percentage of your tournament is going to be those 3 decks, and then Rogue is smaller. This event was, you're going to play 50% cash, but the other 50%, like
I think it was less.
Prepare.
think it was less than 50% for cash, maybe. Because it was
Top coat was 30.
World Cup was
yeah.
30, and it was definitely the most represented. And I think, a tournament experience, I played a lot of cash, and I saw a lot of cash just because it was weeding out all the rest of the decks very quickly.
Yeah, I think we took that in our side deck because we did say like, look, we need to like that's in our side deck. The spots that will be dedicated will be cash. Like those were like what
Almost
free
like we were just,
evenly.
yeah. I'll put it back up on the board.
What other decks did you spec out of curiosity? Obviously, I would consider
Anti-spell.
Runic the other
The floodgate.
spell. My preparation that the only what I'd consider real decks, the only tier 1 decks were Cash Tira and Runic variants. In my opinion, obviously there were other decks that did prove to be tier 1-esque. That's how I prepared for mine. So, how did you prepare your side deck for non-Cash Tira decks?
I don't think we respected Runic too much in the side deck because I felt like we were favored because I felt whenever we went first versus Runic, we beat them. Going second, we had chances with hand traps. And then post side, we had the luxury of just siding heavy generic like go second cards.
I disagree slightly because I remember the two cosmics to thrust originally was 3 thrust, and then in order to make sure we had like enough slot, like the right amount of slots to respect Runic, we ended up playing 2 cosmic.
It was
So it was definitely
yeah.
it was definitely a consideration.
I think
But it wasn't. I do agree. It wasn't as big as consideration as like cash.
I think it was more. That was also part concession as well, right? Because Cosmic doesn't just cover the Runic decks; it covers a lot of other decks as well.
Oh yeah, no, of course, but it's more just like it was definitely like considered. It was definitely like for me, it was quite a consideration because that was the matchup that I was more. Especially if you look at like the playoffs, we had a lot of like very good players playing that deck.
I agree.
So it was something that I
I
was
do agree.
a bit more cautious. But like as long as we covered it in sign plan, which we did with things like sliding thrust going second, sliding cosmics, like everything worked out anyway. So
List is really clean, like a toolboxy deck. There hasn't, see, Plant's been around for a long time now. There hasn't been too much toolboxing action going on in YCS events. So this deck has just so many options, and I can imagine that did very well for you in Swiss.
I think that's at least how I've always felt. It felt like the deck was always quite toolboxy, but yeah, I think this deck specifically. I know when we tested originally, it had like 3 small and 3 thrust, and it just felt like going second, you were seeing like any card in your deck most of the time, which is quite nice.
Quite unique at the for current decks at the moment.
Agreed.
Most decks are kind of going with the whole, obviously not exact science, but kind of 20 engine, 20 non-engine. Stats doing it very differently.
I think those decks are easy to build when you can just do like a 20 engine, 20 non-engine. I guess that's kind of how you start off, and then you probably just figure out on maybe some.
You focus on
niche
just like
cards.
which one's the best ones, right? I guess maybe just
I like the variance of playing one of toolbox cards, both to obviously see in your hand and just to put your opponent in comfortable positions where you've got so many different options. You've not just got books and imperms that you've got.
Best Toolbox card, the one duster.
the
Maybe.
one dust.
It's alright. It's alright.
It's
mid,
alright. It's
mid.
okay. It's okay.
Alright.
It does what it needs to
I feel
do
like
when you
you,
need it to.
Sometimes maybe good.
there's those group of players that just have to put 5 or 6 back row hate cards in the side deck, and you take it to the new level and just have to have some in the main deck. It's for that one bozo with the 5 traps.
No,
I think,
the
I think
two.
Spider Orchid is a big thing. Like I know it's not just like Spider Orchid. Kind of, it just kind of wants to mention like zoom around like toolboxes. Like the ability of Spider Orchid to kind of round out the toolbox by providing the floodgate interruption, I think was like it's just very important to know. I think
It come up a lot, just like they flip up. I don't even know Tikaboo, and you just
Get the clipper from the feature match of Christian reading the Spider Orchard.
Please.
yes, Hashira Breath is also another big one because it came up in like finals where I won a game because I was able to pop search Spider Rock and just pop the Breath, and then he was on top deck and I did it.
Very curious. Did you start with? Is the card Sage de Fleur? Did you start with testing that and then eventually just?
No,
left?
more so just because Spider Walker is a level 1 plant, so like you could always search
Yeah.
it from Glamour anyway.
Sage is also like a spellcaster, so you can't really like get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Sage was a plant, I definitely think we'd have considered playing it at many points.
I
But
was just curious because that engine around Super Heavy Samurai time kind of gained traction, that kind of 4-card engine. So I was just curious if kind of the aftermath of that, you were like, let's just play Orchid.
I think
It was always a thing.
we had Orchid for a while, like, 'cause we had Orchid before Super Hero Samurai was a thing as well.
yeah, we had it for London. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was starting it at London. Or we all were, because it was minus, but yeah.
Oi.
I forgot you guys were on the same list as me for a second.
Oof. Okay. But yeah, so Friday comes round. Me and Marcus, much like the other bozos from our group, we got like a stupidly early flight. Actually, it wasn't that bad. It was like 8 a.m. flight, but still, we had to get up like way too early. Jess had to get like a Wednesday night coach all the way over.
Like 13 hours, yeah.
Yeah, Andre had a late night flight.
No. It was delayed by transport. He was
I
supposed to
had
get in
heavy delays, and thanks to James, I was able to find an alternative way to Euros. What's up, James?
How did you get to Euros?
I riddled with delays. Train delays, flight delays. It was awful.
Just lots of delays. But yeah, we all got there. We watched Sam play. Well, actually, by the time we got there, Sam wasn't playing, but we were there in spirit. And then we got together. I felt
I rounded up everyone.
Yeah, you rounded up.
You come here. Everybody come here.
We got everyone in Plant Gang there. We were just chilling. I felt like utter shit. I was not feeling the most well. I sat opposite Jess, and Jess was like, I don't want to play right now. And Marcus was there trying to enthusiastically.
I'm telling you, we're winning. I told you, I don't know who. Someone's winning.
I told Jess, honestly, I think it was like round 4. I had complete faith. She'll let everyone know. I had complete faith.
I almost didn't make day 1 because like I just wasn't it wasn't like I wasn't ill. I just wasn't feeling it. I just felt awful and just like wasn't feeling it and just like I thought it was cursed.
I remember when you lost one of the rounds, you were just like, oh, let's go. I'll go home now. I want to go back to the hotel. And I was just
it was like
no.
that. Yeah, that loss was like kind of painful, but I couldn't do anything. But no, I think it was just because like that wasn't because I was talking about the loss in general. It's just because like my in general just.
Yeah.
I think my mindset just was pretty poor, but it definitely like with like adrenaline and like momentum, it definitely picked up very quickly.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling the best about my weekend. I started 4-0. I made it. I also made it into the venue just as round 1 was starting. By the way, like I barely made it in. But yeah. 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 Started 4-0. Went to 4-3, and then went for dinner. It was sick. Best part of the weekend. I played the same card for card list as Jess. We just kind of ended up being like, okay, we're happy with everything apart from the 15th card on the side deck, which ended up being the bell. We'll just run it because we couldn't think of a better card.
It was good. It was good.
It was good for me as well.
Bro, if you ever played Math Mech, the idea of going small mode into like a trap
bell.
and just going bell, like
Yeah.
I saw people playing Small World into Gamma as well.
I saw that this weekend. That was mad.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Driver Gamma. I think.
No, I don't know how I feel about it either. But I saw the Americans doing that, and I thought it was crazy.
But it was in Dragon Link, which is an argument because you can at least use the Gamma Plus.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But still a bit.
About last-minute changes, the other Tier 0 members on Cash Tira were talking with the Oliver Newton about his side deck strategy.
My man.
The Gamma strategy.
And say Oliver Newton and Joe White are the strongest Cash Tira players in the UK, hands down.
I wish I was one of them.
To be fair, our testing, we had a lot of good theory going into this event.
We'll take it. We had.
I kind of feel like if you were part of the testing circle, if you played a runic strategy, a Cash Tira strategy, rogue or plants, I felt like you had solid information that was provided.
I was against the runic bozos. That's the one because I didn't see. I personally, I don't. How would the runic players win it, like winning consistently? Because like every runic player was telling me, I'm gonna just beat the mirror consistently, but the math didn't add up. How? Maybe I just didn't see it. But like also like there was also like these camps of different runic players. Fly high is better. Lifelin's better. Like very adamant in their stance. Like 80% of the time, they've got the same cards.
I think that for me personally, it just wasn't an option. It's just not a enjoyable deck to play at OICS for many reasons. Deck just, in my opinion, had no upside compared to the other options available.
Like it was being respected, and that I didn't think it could beat the respect because that it had against it, and I also didn't feel like it could win going second into combo. Like I just didn't like against like that was the one deck I didn't think had insane edge compared to what else was there.
I had voices trying to tell me to play that deck a lot
No.
leading up to Euros, and
You had voices.
yes, my team saying that Runic higher was the way, and definitely a strong deck. It's definitely a different take on a combo deck where it's just always going to do the same thing. I honestly think even the players taking it to the playoffs were making misplays. Like that deck was hard.
Yeah.
It just felt like felt like an uphill struggle. Your deck was so powerful, but
It was
then
so
you
hard.
could give it the hands of some of the best technical players, and they're still making mistakes. Like the deck is just there's so many things going on, so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah, you kind of have to play every turn well, and I feel like it's one of those decks that it kind of plays like on a gas and like a wheel. Like if you make a mistake and the wheel gets slower, you kind of like you can't really pick it back up.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really like make a slip anywhere else.
It's that argument of is the deck being too hard limitation, and I think for this event, Runic kind of just from a deck building point of view and a technical play point of view is just not well positioned in my opinion.
It did have enough positives to make me want to have ever consider it. I think like I've never played Cash before, and Cash would have been higher up in my play.
I think Cash was the best deck, just because.
I think Cash was amazing going second. The cards are just like if you're a player and you have a half board, Cash can just rip it apart.
Yeah.
Sometimes like it is very scary. Jess, what's your opinion on Runic decks?
I was like matchup wise. Honestly, I wasn't that scared of them because with the plant theory, it's like with any combo deck, it feels like into this format because hand traps, aside from like a few exceptions like Christian Thomas's list, all the Runic especially weren't playing very high hand traps. So any combo deck was like realistically able to do their full combo, and because all the Runic variants had large engines on the side of their Runic engine, didn't have much room for just generic non-engine, which broke combo boards. So harder combo decks into Runic felt very, very good. And I think that was just like, that was what made me a bit less scared of it, because it means that at worst your match was 50-50 and then if you have like non-engine or side cards to then let you win when you go second, the matchup just like stacks like higher, like better and better, like the more cards you side in. So I wasn't really afraid of Runic. Although it was definitely a thing, it's that I wasn't afraid. Once we had a sign plan for it, I was afraid of it. Go ahead, Andre.
I can imagine kind of air non-engine that they were packing in is like Ash, Nib, and then the ball breakers, and neither half kind of affect plants in what they were doing.
But then I saw some lists like then the Runic decks have to respect the mirror, and all of a sudden they can't really like take everything. They can't since their knowledge in their vein is so little. They've only got 15 side spots, and they can't really just cover like everything enough. Like I saw some lists maybe do show I saw some lists respect the mirror, but then of course these cards might not have good overlap with everything else. So it was like a very tough problem to solve.
It wasn't a deck for me. I don't think it had a great conversion into top cut either, right? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Obviously, the top players that were playing it obviously all topped, so it does tell you that obviously the deck is still powerful, but
I think
the conversion
because the conversion was first Kashtira, second Dragon Link, third Runic variations, fourth Flunder, fifth Plant, sixth Randed, seventh Labyrinth.
Damn,
That
you
is
got...
accurate. That's good memory.
That is accurate. But yeah, if going back to like almost the original point, if I was playing this event, I don't think I'd play a different deck. I think Plant was always the one. Maybe if something else came across, play something else. But
Yeah, I was in the same boat as Andre for Cash. Like, I could have played Cash, but there was a lot of nostalgia of just playing Plants again. So I really wanted to just sit down and play Plants. And I always believe, like, you can always deck build it, even if you start from somewhere. There's always opportunities to make a deck better, and maybe after deck building, it might just turn into a new deck from when you picked it up. But yeah, Kashtira had this problem of just sometimes you brick, and it felt like I would rather take the edge that Plants gave me with more playable hands.
It's still kind of scary, your predictions. Like, one of us will win 2 years in a row. It's kind of scary, but I know you could also be quite confident.
Well, if you look at it, it's just kind of from a testing group perspective, the conversion rate was phenomenal. It was, and obviously Marcus's house is like the house of champions as well. It's like
almost.
you last year, and then you going this year as well.
In top 8, I was pretty happy. So there was Jess, and then there was Gabe. So there was like either a back-to-back Rika UK player to win, or my house would have got back-to-back. So I was like I was very happy.
He was ready to sign up to Medify right there, and then he was. But yeah. Do people want to talk about their like tournament experiences? I guess I think Jess should go last. I guess Marcus.
I think I've definitely already said some things about it on my own channel as well.
Yeah.
So I think I have less to say. Please subscribe to me on YouTube. Thank you.
And Medify. Go listen to her advice. I think.
Alex will put the link to the channel in my description, and you'll type me on Twitter.
Good value for money.
Oof! I'm getting used out here. Oh, for our name. Oh my god.
Only reason she's here.
I know. No. I see how it is. We're her plant gang now. She's not part of it. We're her plant gang. Is what it is.
Sunseed gang.
Council of Sunseed gang.
Oh.
Andre, you know what Sunseed is backwards?
Is.
Okay.
Marcus, can you go about your tournament quick?
Yeah, sure. Like honestly, I was in testing and playing games. I played a lot of games with the deck, and I felt like my win rate was insane. But I knew, even in my feature match, I said I knew I could lose, and but I thought the deck was definitely I knew the deck could definitely win the event if you had the right circumstances. But I started at 4-0, and then I played against first Melfi Sprite, and he was doing Ibly stuff. And like I remember game 1, I normal summon Mudan and was able to push through the Ibly, but like my hand was just so bad. It was like 2 seed, 1 die, not really power cards. So I lost like quite a lot of die rolls. So I lost that game. Then game 3 did the Ibly stuff too, and then I draw double seed and die again, but this time I've got the twin out. So it was so awkward. And then I played versus like Runic for hire. I lost die roll. He started. I drew an Ash, which was able for me to beat him. In second, I drew Droll. Yeah, Call by the Grave, which I felt was unlucky. And my SIP card was Droll, and I was like, oh. I go first, game 3. I'm like, cool. I've got the Lily, so I can play around the Nibiru. He ashes the Lily. I try to either play around Nibiru or evenly. I was like, I guess maybe play around evenly because that's more common. I get the Nibiru. I'm like, very unfortunate. I lose this game 2-1. And then I win a game against Kashtira. All my wins were 2-0s too. So like every time I was going second, I was seeing like the really good go second cards. And then I play against Kashtira. I win game 1. Game 2, there's the cash games that we lose where they start and do anti-spell. And if you don't draw Cosmic, we accept that loss. Then game 3, he shifted me, and I still set up like 5 interrupts, but like sometimes Kashtira can draw those like perfect 5-card hands. I was just like, yeah, it was pretty tough because I felt like the games I lose, they kind of just happened like 2 of the 3 times, and I kind of just needed a bit more die rolls because like Plants was one of those decks where I think every game where you go first is so favored to you, like insanely favored because just of how the deck combos. When it starts, you go like Infinite Plus, and they won't have. And it wasn't a format where like everyone was mainly to beat plants.
Mm.
So
Half board's so strong, this plant deck,
Yeah.
honestly.
especially this we were doing small worlds today. Like we were proper like when we go first, we
Yeah.
went. Oh yeah, it was just a bit unfortunate. I was losing die rolls, and when I was going second, I wasn't seeing the cards. But yeah, it is what it is.
Andre, if you want to go through your tournament experience, I guess.
So, can't remember where I hit my first loss in Swiss, but it was quite late into day one. And so my losses were one to Kashtira and then one to Branded. So, look at my list, like the Branded matchup is horrific.
Mm.
The Vanquisol duel list, we were kind of on the, oh, you need to play Barrier just in the case you play against Branded. You need to be playing X, Y, and Z to beat that matchup, or Shifter, for example. And conclusion was that either great Branded brick or kind of do two hand traps at them, or you just take the L. That's exactly what happened in the match. As well, our game one, maybe some lessons to be learned. Our game one was like 32 minutes, roughly, as well, where very similar, where neither of us really got going, and I felt the game was really winnable, and then it just slowly slipped away, and I should maybe have conceded earlier. So it was an unfortunate loss. Talking about my Kashtira losses, they just kind of had the deck building edge. One of them was playing Dark Hole and Raigeki in the side deck, which fair play to him. It probably helped him whenever he played against Vanquisol. It's kind of like fair play to him. Like if we don't think it's correct, but it got him a win in Swiss, so fair play to the guy. I said, well, that there's not really any side deck hate for Vanquisol, but those cards are pretty damn good. All scenarios, so that the rest of the tournament, Swiss was, let's say, comfortable, but it was exactly how it was testing online. I got to quite a high Dueling Book rating, and it was kind of just pretty much just like sitting at home playing 10 games on Dueling Book. Like every game was quite clear and concise what was going on. They were misplaying and everything, and kind of it went to plan, and I beat a lot of Kashtiras in a row just for the reasons I gave. The deck just really good against Kashtira. And a loss eventually in Top Cut was to Kashtira as well. And guy was playing Lava Golem in the main deck, which again,
Baptiste.
yeah,
Baptiste,
which if I knew there was Lava Golem in the main deck for game one was sealed. I searched for the Book of Moon instead of the Continue. I think I had it in my mind for. I just assumed there was kind of like thrust.
How would you play around it if you search for
If
the Book of Moon?
if I searched for Continue, I would have beaten the Lava Golem.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
So my hand was really heavy on Engine and just Ash Blossom. So in which my kind of stick to the game plan was, if I'm really light on non-Engine, is to grab the Book of Moon spell, just to try and give myself even more ways. Because if I've got all of the attributes online, kind of the Engine is enough interruptions, so don't need to technically get more Engine, if that makes sense. I don't need to search for Continue, so we go with the Book of Moon, and obviously Lava Golem completely shut down 4 interrupts on its own.
Yeah.
4 interrupts. It cleared both my monsters and turned off the spell, the Book of Moon, so it's the biggest blowout you can imagine.
Just to kill you at that point, right?
The thing is, it had to exactly be Lava Golem. Like Super Poly, all of the other board breakers was not enough, because I used 1 rock turn 1 board. When I ashed the Theosis, the Unicorn took the second rock, then he left Lava Golem on the field. Very good move, obviously, and that took my 3rd rock. So he literally killed my grind game.
Yeah.
So we had it was an amazing game one. Like I think with and he played extremely well. Like leaving the Lava Golem up showed his knowledge of, if you get rid of 3 rock, it's a pretty good start if you're trying to outgrind me. So the fact he knew that, like no one else was. Ashtira were Unicorn sniping rocks. They're always going for Exciton or trying to get the Zeus package. Like they were taking Merrymaker or Sargas.
I mean,
even Babushka.
I guess it shows why he got 5th in the main event, right?
Yeah, and
Oh.
I think that he must have
Yeah.
at least had a deeper understanding of the deck than most other Kashtira players.
Mm.
That he found the win condition, and that the game one was just really interesting. And I sadly bricked in game three, so that was the end of my run. But
But you had like you and another UK player had the best Vanquisol performance in the tournament, which is sick.
and I saw the other list, and the other list was I consider like version 2, and I was on version 3, where his again my list it's a lot different, I think, to a lot of the regional lists that were coming in. Is that I trimmed a lot of stuff out, of the deck, just because people were very much looking at OCG style. There was only one Fenrir. I feel like Fenrir is just the best card, if in that format, that event, and in this deck. This is it just fixes every issue the deck has. It's a going second card and gives you two out of the 3 attributes. I felt that standardized build of Panther and Pluto was just really wrong. Those cards are just bricks. Not saying we don't play them after Fenrir goes for this event. It was my standing, and everyone I played throughout the tournament, really nice. I don't know about you. I've not had any runs where all my opponents were very pleasant to play against this event as well.
I
I
don't
think
think I've had a bad run where like I've had a bad opponent since COVID. To be honest, I don't think I encountered some odd ones, let's say, but I haven't encountered like anyone that was like straight up just like rude or like anything like that to me.
They were too busy reading your cards. They didn't know what's up.
exactly.
Yeah, true.
You can't.
You said
can't
about
shark you if they don't know.
No,
American events being like very friendly and whatnot. I feel people may think the European events are quite difficult, like the language barrier especially. It is difficult, the language barrier, but I was just really, I really enjoyed my tournament experience, both playing the deck and all my opponents were really nice actually. And yeah, they were reading cards. No one was taking the mick this time. So it was just a really nice experience overall, and was able to kind of my goal. Obviously, this is the European champion, so that is quite the achievement. But for me, I've never been able to top Euros before, and I've been playing the game for a long time. So, for me, it was definitely achievement my side.
wow, congrats, you did it.
Woo.
You did it. So Jess,
I thought I was going last.
yeah, I've already done mine.
You
Mine was,
went.
I was quick.
You
I
already
was in and out. I was done.
You're getting lunch.
I
You're
went-
getting lunch while you're
I
playing round
went
8.
honestly. I went 4-0 to 4-3. Like I got featherstormed a bit. I got flundered a bit. I lost a plant mirror match. Apparently, the only plant mirror I can win is Jess. I can't beat anyone else. So I'll take that as a win. Personally, it is what it is.
Inco.
And then yeah, we went for Japanese food or something afterwards, and it was good. I'll take it as a win.
Yeah. My own experience was very like it was obviously a little bit different. I was very like so I was like day one was a bit of a blur because like, I was quite like out of it, and then I lost round 4 to like Ollie Newton, one of the other world questers for this year, who got top. I think got top one on the other side of the bracket because he ended on the full board for cash. When it's time for Shangri-La, I thrusted for evenly, went to battle phase, and he flipped set rotation, gave me a field spell, and I had double Concord in hand as well. So I just had a ton of dead cards in hand, and you can't play through a full cash board with 2 cards in hand, like live cards. So I lost that, and then my other loss wasn't. My loss was last round of Swiss, which was just my own misplay. Because I was locked anyway, and I should have just rushed into battle phase, and I tried to gain life in time, and I lost. Yeah, I couldn't. The guy was really nice. It was a plant mirror. I lost. But it's entirely my own fault. If I'd rushed battle phase, it would have been fine. I got too focused on gaining life, and then I was down 2-2, and I gained 2-1.
Ah.
But, yeah, it was 3 in perm, so I'm still not too mad. Then top 64 was against one of the Disciples guys on Dragon Link. top 32, I had the weirdest judge call I've ever had, I think. I don't know if anyone's heard about this, the small world judge call.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. This was hilarious to me.
Heard about it.
So I defeated Small World. I think I revealed Lone Fire, then Loci, and then Pankratops. So I had
Pankratops has got 0 defense. No,
It's got its
yeah.
And my opponent called a judge. Because he looked and he didn't know it was legal. So the judge checked it was legal, and the judge just said, yeah. And then he appealed.
Oh, wait, what? What do you mean?
And he
How?
he appealed the small word line, and then the head judge came over, and the head judge said, "Do you have any reason to believe this is illegal?" And the guy said, "No." And we just kept playing.
Was it a language barrier, or was he just like, I don't believe you?
It wasn't a language barrier. He just wanted to.
He just didn't want to like understand the bridge. He said, "Yeah, CBA according to judges."
I think Pank destroyed his board, so he didn't want me to like get the Pank. But like it was still like he was still a nice guy. It was like it was still chill. It was just kind of funny that he appealed small world bridge without any reason to. And then top 8, I had Jonas, who was already qualified. And then game 3, he just what?
Oh wait, I'm not sure on my screen. I thought it was. So,
Sorry, I forgot Math in top 16. Math in top 16.
So watching on yet again. Last year, top 8, Marcus Patel. It was just like last year, I was stressing. I was like, is Marcus actually gonna do this? I was confident he could, but I was like, oh shit, is he gonna do it? This year watching you, I was like, oh, she's probably winning the event. It's okay. I was more stressed for Gabe because like, look at him in the background. He looks a bit traumatized. But I was like, yeah, he actually looks like he's gonna throw punches afterwards. But for me this year, I was like, oh, it's fine. Jess is gonna go well. It'll be fine. So there was this side so there was like massive enclosure. On this side, there was the top 8 of the main event. On the other side, there was top 8. There was top 8 of the what's it called? Edison big event, Time Wizard event. Like fringe players or whatever it was. Our friend Matthew Bagley was over there playing top 8 of the event. Don't know how he made it, but he made it there. He did his business. So Jess is playing. Jess draws. Jonas goes first. First bunch of cards. Jess activates 1 card. A bunch of those cards end up in the graveyard. I'm like, okay, she's won game 1. It's what it is. We're watching. I'm like, okay. Game 2. She loses a card from her hand. Then she gets the EV'd. And she loses another card from her hand. And then it goes to game 3. And then here we are. I'm stood up at this point, panicking. I'm like, oh shit, is she actually going to be fine or not? And then it's like, I see the normal storm on fire. I see it goes to grave. I see Ash. I'm like, and then obviously, you can tell it better if you want. But I see gameplay, and then you just get like the thumbs up, and everyone on this side of the thing is raging. They're cheering. They're screaming. Like everyone's so gassed at this point. Like it was somewhat surreal compared to last year, where like obviously we're gassed for Marcus, but it's just like
There's no world.
there's no worlds. There's like as peak it is as it is. It's like there's just wasn't worlds. But like just seeing like everyone on that part like playing for it, and everyone like seeing how gassed everyone was, like seeing Jew there, like when he won, he just jumped into like the sea of Germans. Like he jumped over the table and jumped into the Germans. And just like seeing like all of that emotion, like seeing emotion from people is like one of the few things I really love in this game. Like seeing like how everyone reacts. Like when Marcus won last year, everyone was fucking like screaming and cheering. Like he was just there like, what the fuck? But like everyone was so gassed. Like same thing when you won this year. Like it's one of my like highlights in this game personally. Is just like seeing everyone do well.
The Konami video from when I won on like their Twitter, I think was like really cute, because that was like that just like had like everyone like standing up and cheering, and then it had like me going like hugging people and like all that kind of thing, and that was like that video for me like encapsulates like the kind of like what you're saying, like the celebration kind of aspect,
It's
like
the
making
moment,
worlds,
right?
that kind of thing.
I have a question. How much pressure was there on that top 8 game? Like, if you had to level the pressure, because when it comes to that competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, kind of the deeper you go, the stress sometimes is there, sometimes it's not. Kind of that last round of Swiss compared to once you start going deep. Like for me, my top 8 run at YCS, like, I remember the pressure there. But how was the pressure kind of in that top 8 game and in the final? Were they comparable? Or was it literally all in that top 8 game?
So it went like the top 8 game was like I knew I kind of like it was like all or nothing, especially like the whole like go. We went over the tiebreaker mess beforehand if Jonas won,
Yeah.
I remember
but it's
that.
like it was still like I kind of ignored that when I realized perhaps he's had better tiebreakers than me, so it's what it is. And so I always kept my eye on that game, but then like after game 1, I kind of like very much focused on my own. It was more like during that game 3, I got when he ashed the lone fire.
Yeah, I can imagine your heart sank a bit then. You're like, fuck.
It's like I went small world, because like I had the other card I think I had in hand was small world Mudan. So I swirled away the Mudan for lone fire. Sorry, for not lone fire, for Liborius. Similarly, use the effect to set Regulus, and I created Regulus. He then chained the effect of, I think it was Chandrelier to go in Torby. And he had 2 cards left in hand because he had Ash and he got 2. And I kind of like, my heart kind of started, because I had Cosmic in hand, so I had Cosmic for the set. So I knew that I was like massively up in card advantage. And I think I also had Bell in hand. And it was just kind of like, yeah, I knew that I knew I had it. I knew that like grind game I should have it because he won't have enough engine cards to beat what I've got.
Obviously, you're still a bit like
It's like I need to like not fuck up and close this out. Like just move the state.
Be in the finishing line, like a
Because like,
couple of turns before.
And like when he set one on past, I was just like, this is it. Then unfortunately, that set card was then Steel Drain.
Which I think it's quite funny, to be honest. But
Regulus can still negate one guy. Regulus
yeah, but like that, like there was no combos in that game. That game was just literally Regulus attack, pass.
Caveman.
He then drew, then he passed back, and then it was I had Glamour. I went like Glamour into Strenna, attack the game, and that was like.
Yes.
And I had to apologize afterwards. Like I did kind of pop off a little bit.
I mean, yeah.
I think I attacked the game. They shook his hand, and I went, "I'm so sorry." Just kind of ran to you guys.
Yeah. No, it was insane to watch.
I feel like he's
It's
probably the ideal person to beat in top 8 because he's already going to Worlds. So it's like you weren't crushing anyone's dreams. Like I
That
can
made me
imagine in
feel
the
like
other tables.
that made me feel significantly better about it because I didn't like feel as bad because like he was going to Worlds anyway, and I think his hand was, I think Skill Drain, Double Lady, and Nib. So he physically couldn't play after the story didn't resolve anyway. So actually no, I think he discarded. I don't think he discarded Torby. He discarded something. I don't really discarded. It wasn't a trap. It was like a dead monster. I think maybe a second dash or something. But yeah, it was very just kind of. I didn't feel it wasn't as I think with like pressure there wasn't as much pressure on that match because I wouldn't feel bad for like knocking someone else out because he was locked. I think him being locked made it like a lot less pressure because I knew like even if I lost, I like no matter what happens, I'm not hurting anyone by winning. I guess.
So the other games are riddled with judge calls and kind of I can just imagine the pressure getting to everyone else. It's just
I think it took a lot of pressure that like by winning I'm not crushing someone's dreams.
Yeah, I think when what's his name? I think maybe when Baptiste because Baptiste was the table over, right? When he saw that Jonas lost, I can imagine like it got like that bit more stressful for him. Like
yeah, because just to explain the situation with Baptiste, he was highest on tiebreakers, and how he worked it out was if Jonas won, and then there would be a pass down for the world points, was like the world's qualifying spot. So if Jonas won, then Baptiste, even if he lost, was locked for world because they would pass down to 5th. So he was like, yeah, as soon as he lost, it was very the pressure would have gone onto him.
Yeah.
Because he has to win to qualify for world, and then that match then goes back to like the regular stakes that it would normally be.
Yes, though, it's an interesting dynamic though, because if he won, then you had the pass down spot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was 6th. So if Baptiste then won, then like if Jonas lost, no, he won, and then Baptiste won, then I would get it.
Yeah, so it's that very
But
weird
I think
dynamic
you had
both
like
had.
you both had like very good situation, whereas the other side,
They were fighting for
Yeah.
their
a
lives.
certain roommate had a very a
Like
very
I think
long
the
one.
tension is like the tension for those matches. I feel like it was more chill because honestly, I think for me, I was more chill and able to play properly because I didn't feel the pressure. Because for me, it was still like very, very surreal. It's like I started off wanting to drop "How am I here?"
Yeah.
and then kind of, especially since he'd already qualified, it was like I'm not like by winning, I'm not crushing anyone's dreams. So it's like I was like, I don't feel bad, kind of thing.
I feel like the
So it's-
other bracket would very much be like you're kind of sitting down and getting the gauntlet because you're both like heightened stress and it's like as
Yeah.
competitive as it gets. Like that
I was definitely still
me?
stressed, but
for me, obviously that world spot is kind of no other event
Yeah.
has a prize as much
The
on the
dream.
line as that.
It's
Like
the dream, right?
I would, if you paid me, I'd prefer to play in that top 8 game for the World's Invite than be playing for the Ultra another Verse Dragon, for example. Like it's
Same.
not so much financially, it's just kind of that match kind of is
It's the goal, right?
that's the goal.
it's like the experience way outweighs any money or anything from like pricing or whatever.
Yeah.
I think like after that match, the pressure just kind of dipped. Like at the top, my top 4 and finals matches were both on stream. And like the top 4 match was like obviously it ended in like an interesting way, but it was
5
much
seconds.
more yeah, like a 5-second game. But it was very just like it was much more chill. Like
Yeah.
that game was much more just like we were both like very chill. There was no like the pressure was off because we both knew we're both going to Worlds.
Like,
So-
you're both smiling. Like when you see a feature match end where both people are smiling, no matter the circumstance, I feel like that's a healthy thing.
I think that's like the only match where if you get blown out like that you'd actually be fine with it. Otherwise, you'd probably be
Yeah.
molding for like months.
If that happened in top 8, that would have been horrific.
Mm.
Thing is,
Mm.
though, after this tournament, do you think they're going to ban Harpy's Feather Duster or Eradicator after these stream performances?
Honestly,
Eradicator, hopefully, but Duster, I'm a bit conflicted on Duster just because like with Thrust having that with Thrust is really nice. I think it's like a reward search, but it's more intricate than I want to go that I want to think about right now.
yeah.
Deck shouldn't really lose to Harpy's Feather Duster, even though that card's obviously the power level is S tier, but kind of a deck shouldn't
Yeah.
really be losing to Harpy's Feather Duster.
Yeah.
Really
More than
shouldn't.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Every deck can kind of like
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
do multiple things.
Like, if you looked at the decks in like the last 5 years, what deck is not ending on negates or multi-layered interruption or monster spells, traps, and hand traps? Like, what actual Yu-Gi-Oh deck is losing to Harpy's Feather Duster? So I'd be
It's just Labyrinth and Eldritch, right? And even then, with like Eldritch, when it was like really good, was the control versions of the synchro version, the combo versions of Eldritch, which would have multiple interrupts. So it's literally just Labyrinth, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like we main Duster, but it's not like the card was so insane that everyone should main it. Like so, it definitely provides. It's not like an auto main that card, which is kind of nice.
And the reason we mained it is because it's like it's good going first and second. Because like seeing it and then like going first and then having it as like full up into the board, like to get rid of births and stuff was also always really good. And then just like in general, it's such a powerful card. Like it's like going a little bit plus an advantage. Like you want to see as many games as possible, right?
I think
Did you ever Harpy's Feather Duster someone and then Kurakara the Arise Heart?
No, I wish.
yeah.
I wish. I did win a game without playing a plank card, which I thought was funny. But
Didn't play
Actually,
a plant. He didn't play a single card other than Harpy's Feather Duster in that game.
all I did was like, this was the top 32 match where I played against the match had the small world appeal when I had Pank. I already had the Kurakara, so I was literally just went Kurakara, Pank, like because he'd already used Cash and a Rise, like Shangri-La and a Rise Hop, because the idea with small world triggering the Rise Hop. So I just went summon Kurakara, tribute you guys, summon Pank, attack, end phase take, and that was it.
Curtains.
Easy game.
So he had like a weird combo hand, so he didn't actually have any cards in hand as follow up. So like Pank, I didn't need to do plank stuff because Pank was in it.
Back to that celebration picture.
Do you want it? Are you in it? Oh no.
Yeah.
I
There
was
you go, here
I
you
was
are.
out here struggling to get home.
Oh no, the travel issues, they never end.
But EasyJet, that's up. My compensation actually covered all the costs for my event, so
Really? We take that as a plus.
we've got Jess here, and on the far left we've got the other UK player going to Japan. Yeah,
Wait, where is?
Matthew Bagley.
Oh. I was like, where's Ollie? This is like a sneaky Ollie.
I was like, where's Ollie?
Here's Ollie.
And next to him is Oliver Newton's testing partner, Joseph White.
But honestly, like, for groups that like don't have like the kind of like friendships we have, where we're like, I don't know.
It's more like a friend group than a testing group, right?
For real, it feels like we're a bunch of friends. It's just rewarding that we actually get results together, and we get to see each other like do well and everything. So I'm really grateful for what we have as a group.
There's something that I get asked quite a bit that I do want to clarify, which is like I get asked for like Plank Gang. Plank Gang isn't a serious testing group.
We're idiots.
It's more. It's like it's not just like it's not like a serious testing group kind of thing. It's more just like testing friend group, I guess.
I mean,
I don't know how someone else would describe it because it's not like very serious pure testing.
the way I see it is there's like a 3-week buffer before any event, and someone brings up Plant Gang, and then we kind of roll with it and we see what the vibe is, and if the vibe is there, we'll top the event. If the vibe's not there, someone will still top the event.
Plant counts.
Plant will always
more
do
than
it.
Plant Gang.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. It's just like a group of people. We're all UK players. We're all like, well, for the most part, we're all UK players. We've just all been playing Plant. We all know each other. We just play, and the theory gets us there. The one duster.
One duster.
One duster.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna main Dust originally, but like yeah.
I remember this was like, oh, I'm on the 43 card build.
Yeah,
No, and then I was on 44. I was like, what's your 45th card? Oh, Duster. Oh, I'll just put Duster in.
It's not a bad card,
It's,
right?
it's crazy
Yeah,
to
just-
think like how different of a tournament experience that one extra card made. Kind of both for every hand you open the whole event and for every game it won. Crazy.
I think the only time Duster actually came where it was in Top Cut, I don't think it came up at all in Swiss. I don't think I ever drew it in Swiss.
You didn't need it enough. You didn't need it enough. You just summoned it when you needed it.
You have like the Duel Links Destiny draw. Harpy's Feather Duster.
I'd like to keep the Destiny draw for one more event, please. Just like if I keep Destiny draw for one more tournament, please.
Does your ability get like activated when they set 5?
The condition.
Condition. You
So,
flip
to be-
up your hero skill.
To be fair, during that Top Cut match, my hand was just like completely insane. It wasn't just Duster.
And you have it evenly.
I had
Oh, I
evenly
mentioned that.
Pankratops, Ash.
Yeah, I saw
Dude,
that.
man,
We saw.
You were drawing like a god. I could like your game against
Yes,
Christian
that's
in game
crazy.
3. I was so shocked. You had there was like 3 amazing cards versus Cash, and you drew 4 of them.
Yeah.
We don't. I think we were both like very, very nervous in that match. Like it's like when we talked about pressure before. The pressure was kind of like it was up for top 8, then down for top 4, then like way up again for finals. And like game 1, 2 was fine. Game 3, yeah, we both made mistakes. I definitely should have structured that differently because I could have done a lot more. Also, it's also the fact that for me, I want to explain one thing with the top match very quickly. I read Nib. I was right. He did have Nib, but like because I read Nib because he kept the birth, and I think he was just kept the birth in hand because he was scared of the Predator plant. And because he kept the Theosis Engrave with the careful. I knew that he wasn't like. I knew that he basically knew he had nib in hand, or he was like basing it. He definitely had nib in hand. And yeah, I focused on that too much and then didn't play around it properly when I should have quite easily, I guess.
Yes, though it goes both ways because against the lab opponent, top 4, that game 1 you played literally to the only condition like that. Game 1 was phenomenal technical play to win an unwinnable game. Like I don't think
That game wasn't winnable. So
you
like
found
with
the
any of the
line.
line, like I heard a few people like I know the commentators for that match were saying that like he used his interrupts incorrectly, but I don't think he did because his aim was to stop the ending to Concon, and like realistically that's what he did. I'm honestly kind of sad about the Hobbies for the Duster thing because it overshadows like probably the play that I'm proudest of.
That game 1 was the most entertaining. As someone who obviously like is the decks relatively well, that game 1 was the most entertaining game the whole weekend that I watched.
What do you mean? Game 3 in the finals was insane. I loved it. I loved it.
It just like the lab deck basically had like the dream opening against plants, and it's just this
I'm still
combo that people probably didn't even know existed.
I'm happy to sit down and record us talking about that game 1 because I'm convinced he played wrong personally. After looking back at it, or looking at it at the time, I haven't watched it since we were there in the venue, but there's no shot you did it right. I'm sorry, but
I still played well. That's all I care about.
Oh no, I'm not. Okay, I'm not saying you didn't play well, but I'm saying I don't think he used his interrupts correctly.
How else do you win unwinnable games like on paper? Is that obviously them playing suboptimally and you finding the one line that you.
It's like sure. It's not. I still don't think it was bad play though.
No. Well, from him,
he had the right idea with win condition, which is to stop getting to Concon.
I don't think. I mean, Concon's obviously good, but I don't think it's the.
In that situation, I think
Maybe.
Concon was. I think in that exact situation.
How do people still not know what plants do though? Come on.
I'm sorry. It's still so funny. Chris just reading Spider Orchid.
It's I think for a plant gang member to win Euros next year, I think the battle is uphill.
Is it like the Infinity Stones? Just need like the whole of Plant Gang to win it. Like one Infinity Stone each.
Legend
The
has
problem is
it.
if you win Euros, you're then going to start claiming that you're the best plant player again by results.
I mean,
and they can't help
statistically, up until 2 weeks ago, I was. So, statistically, I was up until 2 weeks ago. I'll take that.
I remember I made a joke on the Saturday. I said to Jess and you, I said my trophy's bigger. I guess it's not.
Oh.
I actually
you have the same trophies.
we have this.
No. Marcus has got a first place Nationals trophy.
No, I meant plant wise from
Yeah.
plant, but yeah.
Are both your trophies like? I haven't got my trophy, so like.
They're basically the same.
Oh, it's the same. Okay.
No.
It's such a cool trophy.
I've got the puzzle. I've got the Millennium Puzzle, which I think is.
You have the rod. Is it the rod for?
Yeah, I can't believe they gave you the rod. Because like 1 year before the game, there was like the globe, and then there was like a blue eyes, and I was so shocked. Why the rod?
The rod's the best one, Marcus.
No,
Traveling time.
oh,
Traveling time. Come on.
Marcus,
Next thing you're gonna say.
your one's red
The
as well,
second is the
right?
eye.
Your one's red, right?
No.
Was it blue?
Yeah, same kind of scheme.
Sad. I thought it was like red and blue. Oh.
Well, but there is a red one, right?
No.
I swear there's a red one.
I think that might be
Second
America.
place. It's second place. So I think it's
Oh.
blue, then red, then green. then
Marcus,
yellow.
you should have just got second, Marcus. Should have just got second. Unfortunate, I guess. But yeah,
I know the Euros top floor got like a green one. Which I thought looked cool.
It's okay. Jess's hair just represents the correct team, so it's okay. It's okay.
We're gonna be very neon pink for Worlds. We're going back to like blind before Nationals. No one saw it because I had to like fade it because it was too bright. Because like it was like painful to look at. We're going back to painful to look at pink before Worlds.
What's to be done?
It's fine.
It has to. I have to
fine.
blind my opponents with my hair
Are you?
so they can't see the card in their hand.
On.
I guess my last question before we start wrapping up is how are you feeling about Japan 3 more weeks.
I'm not looking forward to getting up at 3 a.m. to have to get to the airport.
Oh, poor you. Poor
For
you.
you.
Do you want me to go
Oh.
instead? Do you want me to go instead?
No, it's like no, because right. So the flight is weird. I know this is like a very like petty side thing. The flight is weird because it's like you get on the flight on like the 7th, or like, it was like I don't know, or like one day, and then you just like you're in Japan. Like you arrive the morning of the next day. It's just like you just lose 24 hours.
Yes, that is how that works.
It's just really weird.
Yeah. But you've got basically a
but-
week there.
Sure, like Japan, I'm nervous, but like I'm very excited because it's like even if I do badly, it's gonna be a great. I'm not too optimistic, but I think it's gonna be a great experience either way. And if I can do well, then I'd like to do well for like everyone supporting me, like all the support I've gotten, and just like to show people that I guess I can. And also like, yeah, I'd like to just like as thanks to like everyone who's helped me along the way and everyone who's supported me, I'd love to just do really well. But
It's Ollie's got the crop top line coming.
Which Ollie? Which Ollie?
Zero.
Oh man, not Ollie.
Oliver Newton in crop tops as well.
I'm down. I'm down. Every bats. But
no, I'm waiting this crop top line because it's just like I don't have any T0 jersey or anything right now, so crop top is like the way.
shout out.
I'm just saying, right? I advocate the crop tops in the venue because you guys are like really hot because it's like venues are really warm, and I'm just chilling. Like crop tops are the wave for like big events.
I don't
Can I
think
give you a crop top,
anyone
Debbie?
wants to see me in the crop top.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's
Just
go,
saying,
Andre.
Just saying, no chance.
I'm a very big advocate for wearing sweaters or hoodies at events. No matter the heat, I'm still gonna rock it. Cause
The grease.
I'm here for the comfort. I'm here for the comfort. I think Utrecht. There's a feature match with me. I'm literally just there in like such an oversized hoodie. It's so big on me. I'm just there chilling though. Like I'm actually just like there's a feature match and it's like it goes like down like there on my hands, and I'm just like comfort. Like
Is it my 2014 hoodie?
oh, I wish. No, maybe 2015. Maybe 2015.
Awful.
But yeah. Has anyone got anything else they want to say?
Just for Worlds.
Just for
Just for
once.
words.
Okay.
There's out of the people going, no offense to the Americans, I don't really know that much about most of the Americans going. I know Paulie's good. I know Jeremy Mitchell's got a couple of wins and stuff, but I'm not. I think that the European team, I think the European players that are going are very strong.
No, I really am rooting for Europe, and maybe it's biased. Like I think
the Euro team is like the strongest we've ever had by far.
yeah.
Yeah,
Did
Like,
you
when
a
I-
plant
Definitely.
prize card as well? Did you a plant prize card? It's a sign.
Oof.
Imagine.
is it a
Wait, is it a plant prize card?
We're due one. There hasn't been a plant one yet.
Was it been everything else?
There's been most of the other types.
Oh, we don't know. Oh no, it's got to be.
Jess, real question here. If you win Worlds, and it's a plant prize card, do you keep it?
About
I'm
60k. About 60k.
It's tough.
It's tough. I think personally, I'm keeping it.
I think I'd keep it for a
I'm with
bit,
you.
but like we'd have to see long term.
I'm keeping it. It's going in a safety deposit box. It's getting insured.
Oh, it'd be getting insured 100%.
We're living life.
I think we are a long way off from considering winning worlds this right now.
But the EU team, like, is so innovative. Like the players that are going are so creative and so good technically.
And it's
I
like
know
it's like Dinka Boy's like scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a madness.
How I see it personally,
That's the guy.
if you're not winning, if some random Japanese person's not winning, it's Dinkabui. Those are my three. Those are my three. Like it's like a triangle.
Jonas is still nuts, and if they're all still playing, then
Yeah, true. Jonas is there. They're all good, but I'm down to bet. I'm down to bet.
But I want to see. I'll be very innovation when it comes to events. Like I always feel like we're doing something really cool and really different, rather than just trying to play like the best deck. Like maybe build it well, or like
The safe
like play the
deck.
best cash tier list because we saw so many cash tier lists from NA Top. But yeah,
more about EU. Like, I want to see Japan outcompete. I want to see how Japan outcompete EU this time on deck building because I believe in EU. Come up with better decks.
Well, there we go. You heard it here first. EU is winning Worlds.
EU with innovation.
Straight up innovation. We got this team. But, yeah. I haven't got anything else to say. Plant gang for life, I guess. And yeah. We're doing a little watch party. We're gonna hopefully record some Edison gameplay. It may come out, it may not. Or may not come out. Teasing. We're gonna be supporting from the sofa. So yeah, good luck, Jess. I'm sure I'm gonna say it many more times. I'm sure we all will, but we all believe in you. So good luck.
I'll need if I make it to top 4, I'm going to need the video call the night before day 2 because I'm gonna be dead.
Yeah, it's the emotional support video call. We got this. But yeah. Shoutouts Tier 0, obviously half the guys here are from Tier 0. And
not Disciples.
Legend has it she's not on Disciples. I still don't believe this personally, but here we are.
I feel like I have to
thought I was
clarify
on the
this point.
Disciples.
Huh?
Someone thought I was on the Disciples.
Do you want to be?
Were you winning matches? Were you making top cut?
You're making top cut? You're winning matches? Must be Disciples. Must be.
Yes, I don't get how when I bring out the Tier 0 merch, that they actually ask me that.
It's because they see you in top cut.
If they see you in top cut, they're just not used to it, bro. They're just not used to it.
Jess have been repping Top Cut for the last 2 years quite consistently. Fine.
What about the rest, though? Smile.
Helping Oliver Newton.
But yeah.
And whatever Zeki's doing.
Zeki is always there. But yeah, shout out to everyone from Disciples. Shout out to Brotherhood Games, MetaMats. Evidently not Games Apparel because Jess needs a jersey still.
I think that's just different reasons because I don't think unfortunately Games Apparel do crop tops.
That's
it's heartbreaking.
But yeah,
I know.
not yet.
Haters.
True.
But yeah, we'll hopefully see you in a couple of weeks for the pre-Worlds podcast. And
maybe a post-Worlds podcast.
And hopefully, huh?
Doing a pre-Worlds podcast?
Yeah, why not? Or we not?
Might get the world champion on post-Worlds, maybe.
Yeah,
hopefully.
or we'll get
In my dreams.
At least we'll get a competitor from Worlds. That's okay. That'll good enough for us.
I even have the shirt and everything.
Oh my god! You know you're gonna get like a Japanese one, right? It's not gonna be like the shitty ones from Europe. You're gonna get a nicer one, because the European ones they suck in my opinion. I want to go Japan. If I'm ever qualified for Worlds, it better be the year it's in Japan. If you're telling me I'm flying 2 hours to Berlin for Worlds,
I'm on balance.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm livid.
If then gets to fly 14 hours.
Yeah, I'd rather fly 14 hours on my own. I don't know a single other person going. I just vibe on my ones than go to Berlin for Worlds. Not for me.
No, it's worth it. I'm very very happy it's in Japan because it's just the experience, right? Even though jet lag is going to murder me.
You'll be fine. But
we're gonna purposely mess up the sleep schedule beforehand.
Your sleep schedule's good.
Right, right now it's okay.
Shade fired. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'm sure we'll see you soon. If I can find a button.